Well, hello, everybody. I like to say happy, terrific Tuesday. This is your girl, Bella Biz Unplugged, coming live to you on Facebook and YouTube. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me today. Now, as you can see, I have two very exciting, different, but interesting guests today, and they're both entrepreneurs. We're going to go right into it. So, as you all know, grab your pen, pencil, notebook, notepad, whatever you need, and let's just take some notes. But before I begin with the intros, I would like to just go ahead and thank Lawrence Stewart. He's the owner and CEO of Real Time Processing. He is our sponsor of this evening, and he is sponsoring this segment. So thank you, Lawrence Stewart, for that information. We appreciate it. So our first guest is Mason Wright. I'll tell you a little bit about him, but he's going to tell you all about himself. At 15 years old, Mason Wright has become a restaurant owner and is setting his sights on a future franchise. He wants to have restaurants all over the place, all over the world, actually, like McDonald's. Mason says that on Good Morning America. Some of you may know him, a lot of you don't, but we're going to get to find a lot about Mason Wright. That's going to be our first guest, our first entrepreneur. So let's get right on to it. Our second guest, which will be at the bottom of the hour, is Tiffany D. Kelly. I'm going to save her for last, but without further ado, I'd like to welcome everybody to Bella Biz, and more importantly, welcome you, Mason. Hey, Mason, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am super fantastic. And thank you, young man, for always acknowledging me and taking the call when I ask you. So, Mason, we want to do the who, what, where, and how. I want you to tell people who you are. I want you to tell people what you do. And I want you to tell people why you do what you do. So, Mason Wright, you have the floor.
Okay, so hello. My name is Mason from Mason Super Dogs, and I am a street chef. I started my business when I was 9 years old, and I had a love for science. And I wanted more science kits that were more advanced, and I wanted to do robotics kits. But one problem with that is they were very expensive. Some were like $900 to $300. And my mom told me one day, and she said if I wanted any more robotic kits and science kits, I would have to pay for them myself. So every time I went to the grocery store, I asked for a job. They all told me no, I was too young. And that's when I realized I could be my own businessman. So I started doing odd jobs around my neighborhood, like walking dogs, washing cars, and mowing lawns. The one thing about all those jobs is the reason why I didn't stick with them is because, well, when I was mowing lawns, it got pretty hot out. Pretty hot. And I'm in Georgia, and in my area, we have a problem with snakes. I didn't know that when I was pushing that lawnmower, I didn't know that. So got pretty scared of snakes, and they were in everyone's yard. So stopped doing that. Then I went to walking dogs. I thought I was gonna have a problem with the pit bulls, the German shepherds, and the boxers. It wasn't the boxers or any of the giant dogs. It was the little chihuahuas that had the most problems with them. If there was a car, if there was another dog, if there even was a squirrel, they went after them. And I was walking 4 dogs at a time. I probably should not have done that. I didn't know how strong chihuahuas were, and there's 4 of them. I almost got drug all over my neighborhood. Other than that, I was washing cars. People's cars are a little when you go out and drive your car through mud, please don't do that. But other than that, and having to scrape off mud off of your car, I left that job alone. So that's when I went on a trip to New York City with my sister. And in Times Square, all you saw was hot dog carts and superheroes. So I thought, maybe I could take this business idea back to Atlanta. And so I did. I came up with a business plan. I brought it to my parents, and I told them my business strategy, what I was going to do. And for my birthday, I got a little red hot dog cart, like the ones in the cartoons and the movies. And then I did a few birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, quinceañeras, gigs all over Atlanta. Then I knew I had to upgrade. I had to keep upgrading. So I started saving up my money for a New York style hot dog cart. For my birthday, for my 12th birthday to be exact, my grandpa matched me and I finally got my hot dog cart. And I was super excited. Instead of doing 12 hot dogs at a time, I could now do 160 hot dogs at once. I could toast all of my buns. I can have chili. I could do chili cheese, and I can also do chopped chicken. When I got my giant New York style car, I started thinking about different recipes I could try. That's how I came up with my menu, like the Firestorm. It's a hot dog top with chopped buffalo sauce, covered in like chicken covered in buffalo sauce, chopped chicken with a little bit of cheese and a little bit more buffalo sauce on the top. You can add jalapenos on it if you would like to. I don't think you would want it that spicy. But other than that, we have the Incredible Dog. It has mozzarella cheese and chopped steak, and that's really tasty with a side of jalapenos. And we also have our very first creation is our Donatello dog. It's a pizza dog. Has pizza sauce, mozzarella cheese, and it has pepperonis on it. And once I thought about all those recipes, I thought, how could I improve on my business? That's when the pandemic hit, and the plan was to get a food truck and do more things other than just Atlanta, go outside of it since we have a bigger bigger station. But sadly, the pandemic hit and we couldn't really do that. So we had to think less, not big, but a little big, like in the box, but not quite in the box. So for my 14th birthday, instead of getting a Chick-fil-A sandwich and a milkshake, I got a restaurant. I still wanted the Chick-fil-A, but it's okay. I got a restaurant instead.
Hey, Mason, that's a pretty big accomplishment. So let me ask you. So the audience is trying to catch up. You have and you own Mason Super Dogs, right?
Yes,
And where are you located?
I am Mason Superdogs, located at 3275 Snapfinger Road.
Now,
32.
Mason, I've been there several times. I got to ask you because Bella needs to know. How do you come up with the dishes? How do you come up with your menu of these super fantastic hot dogs?
Well, I take all my family members and I say I'm going to cook dinner, and but in reality, I am using them as test subjects for my different hot dog recipes.
Hmm.
They don't know this yet. I think they caught on. My mom caught on, but hopefully my dad won't. He can eat four of my Mason Super Dogs, and they're quite large. They're quarter-pound hot dogs.
Yeah. I like that. Well, I think I told you mine is the pizza. I've had the pizza hot dog. So, Mason, we got you out here. You know I love you. I love your entire family, but they don't know what they don't know. I know a lot of things about you. So my first question would be, if I was talking from the audience point of view, what drove you to you're 15 now, you've been working since you was 12, if I heard you correctly. So what drove you, propelled you to do this like for real, for real?
So what drove me was when that person in the Walmart told me I couldn't work because I was so young. Um, I told myself I was gonna get a job and I was going to do the best. I was gonna be the best at that job, and that was being a street chef. And now that's what I love to do. I love to cook and I love comic books and superheroes.
I love it, Mason. Well, some of the comments are coming in. People got to really know what they know. Tracy's saying, "Good evening. Got to get one of those super dogs." I happen to know Tracy. She's out in Conyers, so she's not that far. I want to take a minute right now because I've been out there multiple times. Mason gives nice visuals, and he does give gifts sometimes. He's honored me. I appreciate you publicly. I want to thank you, Mason. And these were like nice door. I'm like, wow. The last time I was there, I think I've been there 3 or 4 times now. Mason's gave me this along with my meal. So, Mason, talk about some of your specials, and so we can get some more people to come out and buy your hot dogs.
Okay, so our specials are like our dog of the month, and if there's a holiday, like if it was Christmas, we would give you a buy one get one free, or we would give you a coupon with every meal you would buy. If it was Thanksgiving, we would give you a meal. If it was Father's Day, we would choose a random person that would come to our restaurant, and they would get a Father's Day gift. The same thing goes for if it was Mother's Day. If it was St. Patty's Day, the first person that wore green got to get a gift. If they had a kid and they came up to the restaurant, we got the inspiration from McDonald's, how they have these little toys. We don't do toys, we do masks. So when you leave Mason Super Dogs, you leave a superhero.
I love it. So, Mason, we have someone I know. Hey, Brenda, thanks for supporting. Brenda wants to know your address to go a little slower for us little older people, Mason. Go slow on the address and how they can get in touch with you.
All right. So the location is located at 3275 Snapfinger Road. And we are open Tuesdays through Saturdays. We are closed Sunday and Monday.
Thank you. Now, Mason, you have some time, and I've been talking to a lot of my entrepreneur fellows, friends, colleagues. There are two entrepreneurs your age that I do work with. I would like you to speak from your heart. There's a lot of devastation going on. We already know this is talking about still doing business during the pandemic. What would you say right now to the thousands of people that's watching, Mason, that feel downtrodden? They feel depressed. Some people are pivoting. Some people have lost their jobs. Some people are in businesses, entrepreneurs not doing well. What would you say to give some encouragement or hope to these people out here that's listening to you right now?
Don't give up and keep doing what you love to do. If you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Just keep pushing forward.
Mason, some other people say, well, he's just a kid. He's not really making a significant difference. Although you and I and your family know that's not true. What would you say to some of the pessimistic people out there, or just people in general who do a lot of talking? You know what I mean?
So our motto at Mason Superdog is to build generational wealth. That's why that's why this summer we did the KBF, the Kids Business Fair, and it was a hit.
Tell me about it, Mason.
Now in school, but they're still working on their businesses as soon as they get their homework done. Homework is very important. Please do it. Don't procrastinate on it.
I love it. And Mason's, for those who didn't catch what you were saying, Mason is mentoring people. I don't want to steal his thunder, his peers. So that's people his age and younger who already have the entrepreneur spirit. They just need a little bit of help. I appreciate that, Mason. We were talking before we came on air. I told you I wanted to support you in any way that I can. So I really want to encourage, and we're going to have an episode probably sometime in September, late October, Mason, as we talked about it. We want to get some of your peers and just have a whole show dedicated to entrepreneurship, because we know, as I was talking to Tiffany earlier, God knows what had happened had we had went in that direction early. So I commend you, Mason. I really do. Mason, what are some of the things you like to read outside of homework?
The things I love to read outside of homework, mostly comic books. I am reading a book about Mr. Herman Russell right now, and I am almost through with it. It's pretty good.
Now, you and I know a really big deal, right? We know who the leader is leading that Rice. Talk a little bit about that, because I know he's one of your many mentors, or just share with us some of your mentors who are helping you along the way besides your family.
So, one of my mentors is Mr. Jay Bailey. He's one of my big supporters. Another one would have to be Mr. Rashad Ritchie. He's a talk show host. He helps me too. And those are a few of my mentors.
Just a few. So, Mason, before I move on to Tiffany, I would like you to take a few minutes and talk to your peers, your constituents, because it might be 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old looking at you saying, Really? I mean, he's really an entrepreneur? For real? Because he really is. I want you to speak to those people, students, that your peers, and help them, encourage them along the way so they can get out there and do what you're doing.
Okay. So if you not have a special skill, your talent, like that could be customizing shoes, drawing, making something, building something. If that's what you love to do, that's your passion, then that could be a business. If you love doing it and you can make money at the same time, it does not matter what you do. If you can make money and do what you love, that is called being an entrepreneur, and that is what you can never get rid of. Once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur. And if you feel like, well, my business really isn't going anywhere, it's okay if your business isn't taking big steps, as long as you keep going, keep striving to do more. Then you will never ever lose or forget your passion.
Mason, what are some of the benefits? We're going to talk about benefits before we close out and some of the disadvantages or challenges. So, what are some of the benefits right now that you can think of, and what are some of the challenges being an entrepreneur?
The benefits is, at the end of the day, after you pay everything and pay everybody else, you get to count the money in the register. And the the only thing that is a little bit of a challenge would have to be waking up early on the weekend to go restock the restaurant.
Yeah, you get help sometimes, though, right?
Yeah, my sister helps sometimes, and my mom takes us there to go get the stuff we need.
Love it, love it. So, any parting word, Mason, that you can share, and I want you to tell people about your business again, but any parting words to help someone who might be right on that edge of, I'm in school, I got all this homework, I got some great ideas, I kind of want to tell mom and dad, I kind of don't want to tell mom and dad, kind of don't want to do them, I kind of want to have fun and play. What would you say to those people? Because there's a lot of those kids out there like that, Mason.
I would say just do it. If you're serious about your business and what you want to do, go ahead and do it. Doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter if you how your schedule is. As long as you have the passion to do it, then go ahead. Just start your business.
I appreciate that, Mason. Are you going to hang with us while we continue on the conversation? Because I'm going to have some Q&A for both of y'all. Will you hang with us, Mason?
Yes.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the best. And I do want to add, I don't think Mason said it. Mason is the youngest entrepreneur restaurateur in the state of Georgia. And that, people, is a big deal. So, remember Mason? We'll do a plug at the end. Please go by and get some of his hot dogs. Lord knows I've been there, and I'll be back, Mason. Thank you very much. They are handled and cared for with tender love and care. So thank you, Mason. You hang tight and you represent your peers, all right?
I will.
Yeah, we're going to move into our next guest, which I'm really excited about. And her name is Tiffany D. Kelly. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Tiffany D. Kelly, all right? So, Tiffany D. Kelly is a wife. She's an educator. She's a coach. She's a mentor. She's a mentee. And she's the founder and CEO of Fit Teach, Chef Executive Office, CEO and founder of the Cooking Healthy with Tiffany. She's a CEO there. She inspires people. She worked at New York City Department of Education. She's from the Bronx. She'll tell you about that. She studied at Body Design University. She studied math education at Cambridge College in Cambridge, Massachusetts. She studied business management at St. John University in Jamaica, New York. She went to high school at John Jay High. She lives in Atlanta, and she's from Brooklyn. And let me tell y'all, she's had to trap. We go way, way back. So, Tiffany, welcome to the Bella Biz Unplugged. How you doing today?
Doing good. I laughed at first. I said, "Did she sound from the Bronx? Don't you know the Bronx and Brooklyn folks don't get along?"
You know, I knew that. I had to put it out
every day.
I know. Tiffany, thank you so much for coming in. Hey, again, Mason jumped off. You need to let people know who you are, what you do, and why you do what you do. Ladies, this is a boss lady, so get ready. Go, Tiff.
Well, I'm actually the owner of Wright's Legacy Enterprises. So Wright's Legacy is in honor of my late father who passed away. So Fit Teach is actually only a piece of the enterprise. And we'll talk more about that later. But I'm just excited to be here. I love coming and chatting with you, Bella. You know how we do. But yes, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, and I really enjoyed Mason's interview because it just reminded me of my own childhood. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I grew up in the area of Brooklyn called Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. And my father was an entrepreneur. So when I was about Mason's age too, I helped run several businesses that my father owned, from real estate to dry cleaners to laundromat to catering hall to commercial property that we've rented out for stores and things like that. And so I had a taste of entrepreneurship at a very young age. And so that's why I'm an entrepreneur today, because of being those values being instilled in me from a very young age. I can identify with him about getting up early in the morning and having to open up a business at 6:30 in the morning, and you better not be late. And so, and so I honor my dad. This year I changed the name of my company to Wright's Legacy Enterprises in honor of my father, who basically built me to be who I am today in terms of entrepreneurship. And so I call it an enterprise because I have several different brands, as you named. Cooking Healthy with Tiffany is one of them. Fit Teach is another division, as well as Tiffany Inspires. And so then Spark is Sexy Fitness. And so all these brands come together to help women with their health and wellness. We are a health and wellness lifestyle brand. And my biggest goal is to basically help women, mainly women over 40, reconnect with themselves and to learn how to honor themselves all over again. And so a lot of times we get caught up in life, in the hustle and bustle, and we begin to lose ourselves. We begin to not choose ourselves. We put things before us, and then it affects our health and our wellness. And I can attest to that, my own story. A couple of years back, actually in my 20s, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure. And I also was diagnosed at that time with anxiety, panic disorder. And it really came from doing too much, not honoring myself. Like I mentioned before, I worked for my dad and I worked in many businesses, but there was no discussion back then around self-care. Girl, please go take a day off and go do something for yourself, or just take a vacation and go relax. It was all about work, 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 work. And so when you keep doing that and you're not honoring self by saying no, and you're not honoring self by saying, you know what, I'm going to go on vacation. You know what, I'm going to change my diet and drink more water and do things that make me happy, discover who I am, discover my purpose, open my business, do something that I know that I want to do. And so when we don't do that, we end up being overwhelmed. And that's what pretty much happened to me. I was running and doing things for everybody else, but not myself. So at age like 24, I ended up with high blood pressure, and I was very sick. And so over the years, being overweight, I was 260 plus pounds after I traveled and moved here, and still not honoring stuff after moving away, still doing stuff for other people, still, skipping, working out and, cooking meals at home, and just basically not taking care of my temple. And so down the line, it caught up with me. And so I had to make a decision to choose me. And I had to make a decision to really honor myself and say, hey, you know what? I got to do something for me. And so my health and wellness journey started, where I started to, eat healthier, cook my meals at home more, do some research on healthier options. And then as I began to, that journey and dropping the first 20, 30 pounds on my own, I decided that it was time to take it a step further. Then I hired me a trainer, and I ended up training and really shedding those pounds. So then I ended up losing over 80 pounds naturally. It was blood, sweat, and tears.
I'm going to stop you right there, because you're very modest, Tiffany, and people don't know what we know. And that's how I met Tiffany. It happened to be, it was a minute ago. I don't want to, I'm trying to remember the year. I can't remember the year, Tiffany. So as I'm
It's
talking,
been a good minute.
but it's been a good minute. And it was actually my niece who was a fitness guru and coach. And I met Tiffany because my niece encouraged me to join her program. I didn't make it, y'all. Mine wasn't there. The body was willing, but the mind wasn't there. And I think I did about 4 months, and I met Tiffany. And Tiffany at the time, let's fast forward, Tiffany, give her your flowers while you're here. Tiffany was the poster child. When I'm telling you, she did everything my niece told her to do and then some, but you got to be mentally ready as well. And I was not. So I kind of dipped and dodged. I lost a few pounds here and there, but I really wasn't committed. And that's when I met you. And I could not believe at that point in time, Tiffany, where you had come from at the point in time that I met you. So let's continue. But that was a really pivotal time for you.
But during that time, it was very, it was life-changing. I discovered some things about myself. I discovered that time that I was struggling with food. I was an emotional eater. I didn't really know until it was brought to my attention, during a training session, but I really struggled with food. Back then when you're someone who's overweight, you deal with self-esteem issues. I look glammed on the outside, but on the inside, I was a mess. I had struggles with my self-esteem. When you have struggles with your self-esteem, you say things about yourself that's not kind. And which was crazy because no one really knew some of the inner struggles I had, because I was always, as usual, you encouraging other people, you're encouraging other people, you're doing stuff for other people. And sometimes we do that, and also because we want to be liked. We want to be, we do those things because we want people to look at us differently, even though we ourselves are struggling on the inside. The self-esteem issue is deep. And so because of that, in my private, I struggled with food. So, I ate. I was home alone a lot of times, especially when I moved here. I was alone a lot sometimes. So, you eating because you're sad. You're eating because of a bad relationship you've been in, been there, done that a couple of times. You engage in a relationship, especially in a case where, it was not necessarily being the best situation, but because you lack the self-esteem, which I did, I got involved with things like that. And then when it didn't go right, then it's back to the food was my comfort. It was my comfort when I was happy. It was my comfort when I was sad. It was my comfort just because. And that's what happens sometimes. But when I truly discovered my triggers, and I truly discovered that I had to really overcome this in order to be well, I had to deal with those things. So I guess I had a lot of coaching and counseling that took place, because the inner me needed some healing, and so that the outer me could really flow. And so through that journey, I trained with Lisa for about almost I just started in 2000, I think it was 2009. I trained for probably almost 6 years straight. Somewhere around there, 5-6 years straight. And in that course of time, I discovered my power, to really, develop those strategies to combat the emotional eating, and also to improve my self-talk and make myself the priority, and show up at that gym every day, every week that I was supposed to actually work out. And then I also became a mentee in a sense, because I ended up teaching classes under her for like 2.5 years, where I became the fitness instructor on certain days. And it was like, for me, it was like a give back. It was a give back to women who were just like me, who were overweight, who had lost hope, didn't think it was possible. So every time I stepped up in that studio and I talked to the women, it was my way of basically helping them to see, hey, if I could do this, you can too. And I'm going to be here to encourage you every step of the way. Every time I come in here and you're in here, I'm going to encourage you. We're going to make this happen. And so through that journey, I ended up, competing, figure competitor and things like that. It was also to honor the plus size woman. That woman who never thought that was possible, to step on the stage in a little bikini and some heels and pose. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of things that I wanted to do just to honor myself, and to also that woman out there who feels like, you know what, I done tried everything. I'm overweight. I can't, I'm discouraged. But if I could be that encouragement, because a lot of times, we have people who have never experienced being overweight, and they're trying to help you but they don't understand your plight. They don't understand how hard that is. They don't understand the struggle with food that you have. They don't understand that, hey, I want this medicine and I really got to get off. They don't understand the struggles you may have with saying no to that food. So that's why I started my company, because I knew that struggle. And so when you understand that struggle, you approach it differently to help people. And so I was that person who, people like, well, you know what? I know Tiffany gonna help me because she understands because she's been here. And I love that, because I asked God to use me, because there's so many women who are just like me. And when I encounter them and I hear them tell me their story, I see parts of my story in there too. So I can relate better to them. And so I'm gonna say, hey girl, guess what? You can do this. Let's work this out. So you leave with more of a kinder eye and a heart, because of the fact that you know that struggle. And so over the years, I've been able to develop strategies for the triggers when it comes to food. And
Right.
I got to a place where when I was on my journey, and I'm an educator, so they always got cake somewhere. There's always some cake. And I got to a place where I could sit there with my little cup of yogurt. I'm like, y'all gonna eat that cake, because I'm gonna eat this yogurt right here, because I got some gold. I got a why. And you gotta have that why. You gotta understand that it has to be so big that nothing's gonna stop you from getting there. I remember when I started my journey, I was married previously. So Tiffany Williams is my new name. So Kelly is the other name, the old name. But during that time when I was married, I remember my ex-husband used to say, oh, you have tunnel vision. You don't see nothing but, yeah, I got to go, boo. I got to go to the gym. I got to make this thing happen. I got things to do. Because I was determined to get off the medications, because people, thought that, this wasn't possible.
Right.
And so, but as time goes on, you still have the struggles. And so I'm here to tell the other part of the other side of the story also, because one of the things that I struggled with in this part of the journey was being more open about the other struggles that you have after you feel like you have arrived. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we feel we have arrived when we hit our goal, our body looks good. But then what happens when life happens? And so if I could just be transparent, life happens. Over the last couple of years, my father passed away in 2019, and I hit an all-time low. I mean, I felt like I hit a brick wall. Mm-hmm. And before my father passed away, I was already struggling, because my father was like my world. That's my dad, the entrepreneur. I'm hanging with him all the time. And so he taught me a lot of things about entrepreneurship and that grit and that grind. And so when my father became ill a couple of years prior to his death, it was like when you have a parent that has Alzheimer's, dementia, you see them decline, and they're not who they used to be.
Right.
It's like you're mourning them before they even pass away. So here I am, life is great. I just launched my company, everything is great. But then you have this situation that happens where now your parent is ill, and you're still trying to keep life balanced, but your parent is ill, and you're still trying to stay smiling and helping people, but then you have a turn for the worse when you lose them. So in 2019, I experienced that to the point that my pressure could not stabilize. And I ended up back on a small dose of medicine again. And so I share that because sometimes, they think this journey is perfect. When you're done, you're done. No, right. But life happens. And so I want to share that tonight, because I normally don't talk. I was like, well, what story do I have to tell if I'm back on medicine again? But I want to keep it 100, because this is where I am now. Because I got to speak my truth, because in speaking my truth, someone else is going to get healed. And so, when 2019 happened, and I'm like, this is embarrassing. Here I am, I'm like, this superwoman, and I did all this stuff. But then God had to say, no. You're not superwoman. You're human. But you're
so
not.
Tiffany, stop right there. Absolutely. Because you know what? No, we're not only living in the Me Too movement, we're living in the, thank God, Simone Biles and others are saying it's okay, and Naomi too.
There it is.
Be okay. And
yep.
I want to discuss it a little bit, but before we go into that, because we've got a lot of time, I want to show and share this book. And I want you to know publicly, thank you for this book. Thank you for endorsing this book. I have maybe taken 4. It could be more because Bella got to work on Bella because I don't like cooking. I really don't like cooking. So the pandemic has taught me to be eating more healthier and to cook, right? And so I want you to talk about this awesome book because it is a very natural, holistic, healthy cookbook with all healthy, low-calorie meals that can be incorporated in your diet. And I actually gave this book a couple of times to some of my friends. So let's talk about how you got this book because this is a powerful book, Tiffany. I kid you not.
I appreciate it. Cooking Healthy with Tiffany, it's interesting that Cooking Healthy with Tiffany got started almost, I won't say by accident, because I believe that God does not make mistakes. But Cooking Healthy with Tiffany was launched in 2018, actually, before it became a cookbook. It was actually some Facebook Lives I started doing with cooking food. And people were like, well, how do you cook that? What is that? Like I had posted a picture of some black rice, which is also a recipe in the cookbook, right? Thank you, Mary. And in October of 2018, I kept getting all these inboxes and girl, what is black rice? What is, like, what? How do you cook that? Where do you get it from? I never seen it before. And so I said, you know what? Let me do a live and just talk about the black rice and show them how I cook the black rice. And it was so much, commenting, so much overwhelming response that I got from that video. I was like, that's kind of fun. Well, let me do another one. So next week, I had another video that I did with a different recipe because people said, oh, you coming back next week? So I'm like, yeah, okay. It went from one recipe live show to a second recipe live show to where it was a whole series of about, I think, 13 live videos from October that went all the way, I think, until, January. And so through the course of those months, people kept saying, well, where's the cookbook coming out? When's the cookbook? I'm like, cookbook? I'm not writing no cookbook. I'm an author. I wrote, my book, Lady of Power, was my first book. I'm not writing no cookbook. That's not, what? Cookbook? But mind you now, when I was training with Lisa, I actually used to give out my recipes for free.
Yes, I remember that.
I used to print them out and share the recipes, and somebody would come in to do the to train for the boot camp, and they're like, so Tiffany, so how do you cook your sweet potatoes, and how do you make them look like that, and how I'm like, okay, wait, and I'm just rambling along, telling people, and not knowing that God was going to do something different that I had no idea was going to happen. And so in 2018, after the show ended, I was kind of like, still people kept saying, I was cooking here and there. I wasn't posting too much because I had started working for school again. And so I got a promotion. I was getting really busy. And so I was like, people still asking about these recipes. And so then I had this coach and she was like, so when is the cookbook coming out? When is the cookbook coming out? And so I was like, okay, fine. Okay, I'm gonna start. So I started putting the recipes down. I had to go back and watch videos. Because I didn't even have some of them written down. I was like, okay, so let me go back and watch that video on Facebook. I did.
I love it.
So what happened in 2019, I think it was 2019, I was still being pushed to do the cookbook. And I started working and compiling the recipes. Then my father passed away, so it was a little setback there. And so I kind of like didn't do anything for a little while. And then in 2020, right before the pandemic, I was working on launching the cookbook, but then it didn't happen. And I was still compiling recipes. Then another coach friend of mine, he was like, Tiffany, that cookbook is going to be published this year. He's like, and I'm gonna need these recipes done by when? He was giving me timelines. I was like, oh shoot, let me get started. And then the lady who actually was my editor of my first book, she basically was like, yeah, I need that book by such and such. I was all messed up.
Right.
But come last year during the pandemic, and I think it was when I finally got my head together, I think it was like March, April, I decided to do a pre-sale launch of the cookbook. And it was bananas. So the pandemic blessed me because people were home. And so basically, the cookbook had an overwhelming response, and people were purchasing the cookbook before it even came out. And so I began doing the finishing touches. My cookbook is self-published by me. I also, the cover that you see here, this cover was designed by me. Shout out to my buddy who actually did my picture here. And so Woody is a phenomenal photographer here in Atlanta. And so he did the cover picture like a year before. Okay. And I basically designed the cover myself. Every single photo you see in that cookbook pretty much is mine. That's all my food, and it was done on my cell phone, believe it or not.
Wow.
And all those beautiful pictures you see were done on my cell phone. And so the cookbook launched last September, and I've been selling it ever since at daretoloveYou.com with the number 2, daretoloveYou.com.
So everybody listen up. I'm telling you, y'all better be grabbing and scribing while we're talking, because it don't take you having $1 million. We're not talking about when I get ready. It's just jumping in, like Mason said, and like Tiffany said, and all of us, and just doing it. You have to start somewhere.
Absolutely.
Perfect. You got to build it up. That's awesome, because Tiffany, the 4 dishes that I cooked were pretty amazing. Probably not quite, to your specifications, but at least Bella completed the job. So since we know we got Cooking Healthy, what are you doing now? I want you to take like the last 10 minutes and talk about what you're doing currently. People need to know about you. You've been doing a lot. I just applaud you. You are an enterprise. So what's going on now?
So right now, when I was telling what happened with the cookbook last year, in spite of me even being ill last year, during not even COVID related, I still had to press my way through. But during the time last year, I had a reconnection with my own self on a deeper level. Sometimes when you go through something, like I said, I told you my story about in the 2019 being sick after my dad, passed away. 2020 came, the pandemic just made it worse. So I was down for about 4 to almost 6 months. It took me a minute to still recover. I was still moving around, but I was still recovering. But let me tell you what happens when you get quiet and you let God speak to you. I had a deeper connection with God, and God just started revealing things to me. And one of the things I had to go back and deepen my relationship with God, choosing Him, and in choosing Him on a deeper level. I've been always walking with Him, but I mean on a deeper walk with Him. I understood the importance of that. The work that He's calling me to do, that is beyond just me. And that the illness and the setback that I've had was because He was preparing me to now my next level to help women.
Yes.
And so when I talk about this, we're talking about that honoring of self.
Yes.
So in choosing God, I also chose me, because I'm His child, right? And so I'm learning on a deeper level of how to take care of the inner me. Right. And so because of that, I launched a part of my brand called I Choose Me. And so I Choose Me is all about helping women to honor themselves. That means sometimes you got to say no. No, people, we got to say no. No, I can't do that right now. No, that doesn't fit my schedule. Sometimes you got to step away from all of it and take a day to get away and do something for you. The cookbook is a piece of that, because the cookbook is also taking time, like you said, Bella, earlier, in cooking foods that are healthier for you. Because a lot of people, all of us have a purpose. But guess what? I want to ask you, are you taking care of yourself so you can fully walk out your purpose? How are you taking care of yourself to fully walk in your purpose? Are you getting the rest? Are you eating properly? Are you working out? Are you taking time to take care of your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual well-being? Because if you're not taking care of the inner peace, and that's where God had me last year. He's like, oh, you've done some inner work, but I got some more work for you to do. It's time to go even deeper, because of the fact that now I'm been called as an agent to help other women. And so I Choose Me is basically the part of my brand I really love, because I get to bring all my stuff together. I get to help women with their weight loss journey, if that's what they choose to. I get to help women less about the spiritual piece of it, that inner walk, that talk with God, the meditation, taking time just to be quiet for a moment, taking time to work out and take a walk in nature, go take a walk just in general, or get
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something, Tiffany. I'm getting ready to stop you right now because people, and you know me very well, Tiffany, this is when Bella's like, stop, hold up, wait a minute. We about to drill down. We're going to take quality few minutes because we've already prayed up and the spirit is in the atmosphere, because you're right, Tiffany. You're absolutely right. I have not revealed what happened to me in 2020, but I will in the up and coming segment. So I want my audience to stay tuned to the Bella Biz Unplugged, because I'm going to talk about how I quit that good government job in 2020. But let's go back, because Tiffany, we have a lot of discussions about women. And you know what? It is easily said than done. We already know that. We are not super women. It is okay not to be okay, but it's that quiet, still voice. I want you to stop right there and drill down, because people might miss that. They hear it. Yeah, what they talking? Yeah, whatever. No, it's not whatever.
No.
Talk about that.
A lot of times, we get busy. Some of us, I'm not a parent, but I'm a godparent, right? And I'm an auntie, and I'm also a mentor. So it's like you get so caught up in life stuff, helping, doing this, running here, running there, this job. I got a work assignment. I got this project, that project. But you got to take a moment just to step back for a few minutes and just pause. Because like what I discovered last year in my quiet time in my prayer room is that when I sat and just was still for a moment, whoo, the nuggets that was God was dropping in my spirit was mind blowing. I was going to my prayer room every day with a notebook, because it was like stuff that was being revealed that I had never even imagined was coming to me. And I'm like, really? It was almost emotional. It was emotional. It wasn't even almost, it was. Like I had a tissue box in there, because some of the stuff that was being shared with me, I'm like, wow. And even like now, it's getting deeper and deeper, and I'm able to like understand, like, okay, this is what you want me to do. So now, when you decide to be quiet and listen to him, and it's so good, and it's like, you know what? I can't move without asking him first. It ain't my plan no more. It's his plan. So I challenge you to set aside your agenda and pick up God's agenda. Set aside your own, because when you set aside your own, woo, the stuff that will come to you when you just sit and be quiet and be still. And what I had to learn too over these last couple of months, just recently, is to be more patient. Because I was like, I'm waiting, but I don't, what's my assignment? I'm waiting, but I'm ready. Are you really ready? So I encourage you just to wait, be silent, just be observant, and just know that there's a assignment that's being rolled out for you, but you gotta just be patient and sit and be still and be willing and open to hear him and to follow the direction that's being given.
Let me tell you something. We have a large circle, right? And I talk about this all the time. I'm actually going to have a segment probably coming up late September about this, because we tend to sometimes gloss things over, minimize the most important things, and that's dealing with yourself. I know people say all the time, Bella, how are you maintaining during this pandemic? Because I came home in March, right? I never forget it. March the 4th to be exact, 2020. And I've been home since then, and our life will never be the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is the most time I've had to deal with who I am. I mean, unadulterated, unapologetic, real Bella.
Yeah.
Right? It were all my insecurities, all of my, what I call failures, which I'm finding they're not. They're just, they're just things that happen in your life as you are parlaying through this. This is a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
Once you really get the unction of the Holy Spirit, and we're talking to our God and listening. Oh, I always say, I do. I always say, I do. I always say it, Tiffany. Everything we have is right there built within us. And so I thank you for being transparent, because it's not easy. We still have a little bit less than 10 minutes. I really want you to dive deeper, because we talked about expressing your feelings like you normally don't do when you're on interview.
Yes.
So please continue to share.
And so so now, because of the new assignment and really helping women, because I realized that I had to go through this process, because I felt, and I realize now that over the last year or so, God has been processing me. You know, and you have to be patient and also respect the process. And so I had to sit back and just ask, well, what is it that you want me to do? And so what I'm learning is that I am supposed to help women learn how to honor themselves, just like I had to learn how to honor myself. Because, you know, when you honor yourself, it's how you take care of yourself. It's taking your power back. You know, it's saying no. It's engaging in things that make you happy. You know, connecting with people that also build your spirit. You know what I mean, and give you good energy. So I'm all about energy. And so this one of the biggest things that I'm doing now as a way of this new beginning and being able to help women to really choose themselves, because a lot of times we don't choose ourselves.
Right.
We're last. Like, we take care of the kids and we take care of the husband, we take care of mom, we take care of dad, we go to the job and take care, but we also put our well-being last. You know, we'll do that constantly. And then when we get run down, beat down, who are we good for? And so I'm launching an event. This is one of my I'm sharing it on your show, Bella. I'm sharing it on your show. This is hot news, hot off the presses. But if you are in the Atlanta area and you are a woman who is like, you know what, Tiffany, you're right. I'm ready to I gotta do something different. I gotta change my lifestyle, my actions, my choices, because I need to choose me. I need to reconnect with me. I need to do things that are gonna make me happy, because I do so much to give to so many other people that I'm losing myself, that I don't even know who I am no more. You know how many women I have met who don't even know what they like anymore? They don't even know what brings them joy. And I really love to work with women who are over 40, because I'm 45, because it's like we're on the other half of, you know, of the journey right about now. And by now we should be able to say, you know what, we should know what we want by now. We should know what we enjoy. We should be able to do things to make us happy, because we done spent a lot of our time taking care of family and jobs and careers and all of the stuff that we do. And so if you're a woman who said, you know what, Tiffany, I need a jump start. I need to get started with doing some more things for myself. I want to learn how to eat healthier and stay fit. I want some new strategies that will help me pause and to reset and recharge and possibly even reinvent yourself. If that's you, I want you to connect with me in Atlanta. In Atlanta on October the 30th, I am hosting my first I Choose Me brunch. My first brunch, I Choose Me brunch. And I'm super excited because I've never done nothing like this before. I've done other workshops, but this is a brunch. It's for women to get together to connect. And let's talk about some things that we can do to honor ourselves more. I'm going to share some strategies and some things that have not only helped me, but help other women that I've actually coached this year. Because I launched an I Choose Me program earlier this year. And I had some phenomenal women in that group. And so now I want to do this brunch because I want to connect with some more women who are looking to do things differently come the rest of this year and beyond. And so not only that, Bella,
wow,
I'm also bringing Cooking Healthy with Tiffany and my other company that has been shelved since my father passed away, which was a very that business kept me busy for a long time. Every weekend I was like Mason, like, you know, the yummy jars. So the yummy jars and Cooking Healthy with Tiffany and my company, which is called Tiffany Inspires, which is that's where I Choose Me is under, are coming together to sponsor the I Choose Me brunch. And so you're gonna get to taste food from my cookbook, made by yours truly, where I'm going to feature foods that have been some of the most popular ones that people send me pictures of that they have cooked from the cookbook. I'm going to feature some of those recipes. You get to get a whole meal from Cooking Healthy with Tiffany at the brunch. You get to also, as the treats will be based on the yummy jars, I'm going to create the treat jars for you all for the brunch. And as well, you get a copy of my I Choose Me journal. We're going to do some stuff with that too. It's going to be fun. And I'm also doing,
because I'm going to get my ticket. How do we find out more information? I heard October 30th.
October 30th. And it's in Atlanta in the East Point. And you get a live Cooking Healthy with Tiffany mini show. I'm gonna cook live. Yeah, I'm bringing it all, Bella. I'm bringing it all. Yes, and I have handpicked and chosen some amazing vendors and I have vendors that are coming on health and wellness stuff. I have I just want it to be a day where women are able to honor themselves. Honor yourself. And so I can't wait to put the food out, whatever, as much as possible for you all to eat, and try. This is a live event, Mary. I haven't decided how I'm gonna do, if I was gonna do something virtual. I have to figure that part out. But this is one of my first live events. We are gonna also practice social distance and masks also required, when you're not eating and things like that. But this event, if you want more information, you can go to ichoosemebrunch.com and register. And here's the thing, because I want this to be intimate, because I want to be able to love on every single woman that's there and be able to impart a message and resources that they can walk away with feeling empowered, that they can do this afterwards, or if they want to take it to the next level, I'm going to have something that I'm going to share with them as well at the event. If they want to take it to the next level, because we have to begin to honor ourselves, because we're losing ourselves.
Yeah.
And we can't afford to do that anymore. And so the ichoosemebrunch.com is where the information is. It's only 15 women that I am allowing to attend.
Wait a minute. You know what that means? Bella got to be one of the 15.
Look, 15 women, and the rest are the vendors. That's it. 15 women. That's all I want.
Wow.
Because that was the number that God gave me. Because I want this to be small and intimate, because there are things that we're going to do, and I want you to feel, I want a personal touch to it. I want you to feel like, like you really get connected and plugged in and not be lost in a room full of people.
Wow.
And so that's what we're doing.
Well, I tell you what, Tiffany, because Bella got to go off this show and get on. I want you to one more time, as we're closing out, reiterate slowly the website for the October 30th.
Sure.
And then your social media handles, how people can just reach out to you directly, because a lot of comments are coming in. I cannot read them all. There's a lot coming in now, Tiffany. Of course, go figure at the end, right? Because I want people to know how to contact you. But first, October 30th information. Second, all of your social media handles, how people can directly contact you. And third, as you know how I like to do, I want you to close out with a powerful, strong, whatever's on your heart to the community. So take it from there, my dear.
So the brunch is I Choose Me Brunch. ichoosemebrunch.com. ichoosemebrunch.com. You can find me if you're on Facebook, my actual company page, Tiffany Inspires, is where you can go to actually connect with me. You can inbox me there. The information on the event will also be posted there after this show tonight, because I wanted to wait until after I announced it here before I released it. And so that's where you can find me. I'm on Instagram as well. Tiffany D_Williams. That's it. Tiffany D_Williams. But Tiffany Inspires on Facebook, and ichoosemebrunch.com for the brunch information. I just want to thank you, first of all, Bella, again, for allowing me to come here tonight. And I want to encourage every woman that's watching tonight to do something for yourself. The word that on my page, when you go to that brunch page, says, it's your time. It's your time, lady. It's your time. You've done all for everyone else. You sacrificed your own dreams and aspirations for other people, But now it's your time to honor yourself. It's your time to do something for you, to take care of you mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially. It's your time. That business that you may want to launch, it's your time. Taking care of yourself is your number one priority, because guess what? You have a purpose and there's things that you've been called to do, but you also have to be well to walk this journey and to do those things that you've been called to do. There are people waiting for you. There are people waiting for your gift to this world. So it's crucial that your health is intact, because it's vital for the journey. So I want to encourage you to do something for you. In choosing you, you are honoring yourself. It's your time.